So Baker Mayfield addressed the team after that loss to Kansas City, not only about that game, but moving forward. Here's Baker Mayfield on what he told the team.
There's a fine line of walking, of beating yourself up about it, and then realizing there's 16 more. And I think we should beat ourselves up about it because, we feel like we should have won that game. But there is 16 more. So it's the mentality of, hey, we got to go up the next week and go do our job. But this one should sting. This one should sting, and you need to learn from it because we had that game and we need to, close it out. And so I think there's a fine line of walking that. And that was my message to them is, guys, you know what? We're going to be really good if we just do our job and, continue to be efficient and move the chains and help out our defense by staying on the field. But this one needs to sting. And you need to remember that all the little things matter. And that's how you need to approach the week of practice.
Love that message as well. It was an opportunity loss, much like you and I have said that playoff game against Kansas City was an opportunity loss. This one maybe even more so.
Yeah, Dave. I'm still grinding about the 22-17 divisional round loss. I think I told you once that I'll get over that when the Browns beat the Chiefs in a game that matters. Well, guess what? They had a chance on Sunday. Let me tweak a little bit of what the Bake Show says. I don't blame him as a player talking to his teammates about saying we should have won, but I prefer to say they could have won. And there's a difference there because if I say that the Browns should have won the game, then I discount the abilities of the opponent. And in this case, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're terrific. They have the best quarterback in the NFL. They're at home. So it's too much for me to say they should have won, but they easily could have won, but for 4, 5, 6 different issues that cropped up. But I appreciate Baker Mayfield saying that. In the NFL, it's interesting how National Football League, the acronym can be not for long, and not for long applies in a lot of ways. I mean, it can apply to a player's career. It can apply to the attrition that takes hold by virtue of injury. It can also apply to you cannot dwell on a loss or you cannot gloat over a victory very long because if either one of those happens, you've got a game the next week and you get punched in the mouth because you're not paying attention or you're too busy thinking about the previous week. All kinds of crazy stuff can happen. So I agree the Browns have to turn the page, but at least in the subconscious, they have to keep that one in their minds because it was an opportunity lost.
I agree wholeheartedly. The other thing I'll say is Baker Mayfield looked very much like a quarterback in command of his offense. There was a lot of decisiveness. There was a couple of throws that he missed, but every NFL quarterback misses a couple of throws.
Yeah, Dave, Baker Mayfield was playing terrific football for 3 quarters. And let me start, though, when I praise the Browns from Sunday, it starts and almost ends with Kevin Stefanski. I thought that Kevin Stefanski called as good of a game as basically you could possibly call. It was a near perfect game call by Kevin Stefanski. I had wondered on these airwaves, I had wondered about Stefanski's game calling in big games. I didn't necessarily like the way the offense moved or the way the offense behaved, if you will, in the divisional round. As one example, and I went back to Stefanski as OC in Minnesota, and there were a couple that I didn't like. On Sunday, he was awesome. I mean, he had his team prepared to play, and then specifically to the offense, that offense was taking it to the Chiefs. They were dictating policy. They were doing what they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it. The first thing that slowed them down at all was the Nick Chubb fumble. And even beyond that, they were able to continue to go at least through 3 quarters. And when you look at what derailed the Browns on Sunday, in my opinion, none of it had to do with Kevin Stefanski's play calling. So I think Stefanski, out-schemed the Chiefs. I'm not going to say he out-coached Andy Reid because Reid won the game, but Stefanski put his team in position to win. He did a phenomenal job. But as for Baker, really good, but you can't throw a pick in the final drive, even if you're tripped from behind trying to throw the ball out. You cannot throw a pick there. You can't turn it over. And I know it's a brief career for the Bake Show, but so far he is lacking in comeback victories, comeback fourth quarters against quality teams. He has the Bengals solved, but he doesn't quite have quality teams solved when you need him to bring to take the team down the field and score a touchdown.